Can't stop, 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 stop. Move, move, move. This your jam, this your jam. Feel your soul, this your groove. Can't stop, 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 stop. Move, move, move. This your jam, this your jam. Feel your soul, this your groove.
The hottest topic in sports right now is field/court storming. First of all, anytime anything happens in the sports world, it is absolutely nauseating how they approach it, because it doesn't matter what it is, the significance of it, or whatever. If it's a hot topic where everybody can jump on and pick a side and I'm smarter than you and you suck, go fuck yourself. Yeah, like that is mainstream sports media at its finest. And no topic as of late has hit as hard as this damn court storming. The kid from Duke, Kyle, I think is his first name, is Filipowski. I don't know how to pronounce it. Big dude, projected lottery pick in next year's NBA draft, superstar talent, soft. And this isn't a hot take. This is just my evaluation of what I saw. More information has come out. I didn't jump on TikTok and give an immediate reaction because I don't want to have those instant, just emotional reactions to things. I like to wait for information to come out, wait for the dust to settle, all this, before I make a decision on what my opinion's going to be. I like to let the cake bake before I decide what I'm going to do. And I've watched all the angles and everything else. While court storming presents a massive opportunity for there to be some sort of dispute between player and fan, it is a highly emotional event. You've got drunk and, I'm sure sober, but you've got young, for the most part, young, drunk, crazy fans who are maniacal, to say the least, in that moment, running on the court from every which direction as soon as the buzzer hits, and it is absolute fucking mayhem. And as a coach, I do feel for the players who are getting rushed on. I really genuinely do. Court storming and field storming is a massive part of the whole just magical aura and history and all the feel goods that there is in college sports. It's that David and Goliath moment where this team has no shot. They're whatever point underdogs. They've got no shot to win. This vaunted dominant powerhouse team's coming to town, and everybody in the crowd is kind of thinking you're going to get your ass kicked, but you're hanging on because you're a fan. And then that David and Goliath moment happens, and it's fucking beautiful. It's so damn beautiful when the underdog has those massive victories over their opponent. That's not really what happened with Wake Forest and Duke. Wake Forest is actually really fucking good, and they were favored by 3 points. So, side note about that is that when Wake Forest storms the court against Duke, even though they're unranked and Duke is ranked number 8th in the nation at the time, I believe, even though they're ranked and they're not, your team was favored. And your team is very good. And when you, as a fan base, storm, and they stormed, it was like it was like Normandy. They was coming from everywhere. It was a classic moment, no doubt about it. But when you storm, that is you admitting that your program is not up to par. That is you putting yourself on a scale of top-tier programs, bottom-tier programs. Top-tier programs beating top-tier programs, they don't storm. Middles and middles, they don't storm. Middle and high, really. they don't storm, or they shouldn't. Low-level teams that beat high-level teams, they storm. So when you stormed Wake Forest, you put yourself down here. You did that. Not us, not the fans, not the handicappers in Vegas who were setting the lines. They believed in you. You didn't believe in yourselves. So don't really see why you would storm in that particular moment. It's not really a good look for you. But to get back on track with the actual event itself, Filipowski looked like, obviously he saw everybody coming. Obviously the first guy that was running up to him was eyeballing him and running past him, probably going, woo, yeah, you know, doing that sort of thing. And if you're doing this to protect yourself, I get it. He sees him coming. He sticks his foot out. He plants his foot on the ground, which is why he got injured. Although they ran scans and nothing is broken or torn or even strained. All reports are basically saying it's like a bruise, like it's just a little sore. So that's why I said soft. That's why I said soft. Because of the overplayed. He goes to the media right after the game. I felt like I was targeted. I felt like they did it on purpose. It's like that scene in Longest Yard. I think he did it on purpose. And then he asked him, Adam Sandler asked him if he did it on purpose. He's like, oh yeah. He makes him apologize. That's what it felt like to me. That Filipowski was going to the media and crying that they did it on purpose. Like it's just some shit that you would see from 4 and 5 year old kids on the playground. Like, you know, little Johnny pushed me down. I think he wanted to hurt me. They didn't. Man, they were running on the court to celebrate their team. Yes, you being a Duke player who they just beat, they're going to run past you and they're going to go, woo, yeah, take that, bitch, and all that shit in your face. Do you deserve that from a fan on the court right in your face immediately after the court storming happens? Probably not. But if you don't want that shit to happen, win the fucking game. It is that simple. But where I fall on this whole thing... Oh, another thing. John Shire, I believe, is the Duke head coach. I don't discredit him at all. He didn't see exactly what took place. As soon as he saw the commotion going on and assistants and trainers and everybody else kind of trying to huddle around Filipowski to get him off the court, he jumped right in there, you know, knocked kids out of the way, not trying to hurt the Wake Forest fans or students or whoever they were. He was trying to protect his own. And as a coach, your sole responsibility is to protect your kids. So when he vowed to take the head coaching job at Duke, it's his job to prioritize the well-being of his players. So him rushing in there and getting involved and knocking kids back to clear space for him to get his players safely to the locker room, I do not fault him for that. I also do not fault him for going to the media right after the game and making a deal about it. He didn't have any. That's what I was saying. When you have knee-jerk emotional reactions immediately following something happening, you're not going to have the right perspective. You're not going to be in the right mindset. You literally have not had time to separate yourself from the moment, take a step back, and look at it big picture from an objective point of view. It was heat of the moment, player hurt, he doesn't know the extent of the injury, all he knows is he's being evaluated, and all he knows is that he has an obligation as the head coach to go report to the press immediately following the game. That's what he did. And of course he's going to have to answer a question about that, and then when they bring it up, what's he supposed to say? I love court storming. I'm thrilled that my player got, involved in an accident that may or may not be serious. Like he's supposed to protect his kids. Now, whether or not you agree that storming the court should be banned forever is neither here nor there. I believe that you cannot fault John Shire for his opinions in the press immediately following the game. Also haven't heard 100% if he is playing. I'm recording this on Tuesday. Louisville does have a game tonight against Duke. I haven't heard either way whether he's going to be playing or not. To be honest with you, he doesn't need to play. So if they want to continue to build the narrative on the whole court storming and it's violent and dangerous and this and that, they're going to sit him tonight regardless. If that's a narrative that they want to continue to push for like their own sake, they're probably not going to play him tonight. But like I said, I haven't heard either way. But they don't need to play him. It's Louisville, and I live 10 minutes south of Louisville. So even though I'm a Kentucky fan, I don't hate on Louisville. I did that shit when I was younger. I'm 31 now. I don't really care. I wish them all the best. Except for when BBN comes to town. It's time to get your ass kicked. But anyways, this also goes to point out Caitlin Clark's incident about, I don't know, a month ago, give or take. I think that they were at Ohio State, and it looked like one fan was coming on the court to storm by herself. There was, a couple dozen earlier, but it was nowhere near the mayhem that was at Wake Forest. That shit was wild. I mean, but anyways, Caitlin Clark was running off the court. One fan is coming, and when it's 100 people at the same time, like it was for Duke, you're really just like trying to get out of there. You don't really, there's nowhere to duck or dodge. You're fucking surrounded. But in Caitlin Clark's incident, it was one girl coming from one direction, and they were like, it looked like a linebacker chasing a running back on the sidelines. It was a perfect pursuit angle. I should show that clip to my kids when I get back into coaching. But this is how you take an angle. I don't think that the Ohio State fan was purposely trying to take out Caitlin Clark. Why would she? They had already beat her. It doesn't make any sense. If you're going to do that shit, you do it before the game starts. Right? I don't think anybody's coming after the game trying to hurt these kids when their team already beat their ass. So that's why nobody storms when they lose. They did back in the day. Actually, I wrote something down here. Northwestern, and I didn't get the year, but it was a long time ago. Northwestern's fans stormed the field after their 29th straight loss, chanting, we are the worst. We are the worst. That shit's funny, but for the most part, nobody's going to storm after their team loses. So, anyways, I thought that both the fan and Caitlin Clark could have easily avoided that, especially Caitlin Clark. She and I just protected her in the last episode when Jay Williams said she wasn't great. I am 100% in agreement that Caitlin Clark is fucking great. She is a absolute stud and a phenom to watch. What she's doing in Iowa is insane. But with that said, nobody's perfect, and I do think that little floppy and like you're a D1 athlete, I think that you can see one person coming even out of your peripheral and get out of the way. I do believe that. But the question now is, should we ban court storming or not? And again, mainstream sports media is do or die. It's the ultimate pick a side, pick a hill to die on, fight till death. Once you pick a side, there's no coming back. You have to be either here or there. I used to follow politics, and I got out of paying attention to it as much because this shit is ridiculous. Reality resides right in the middle. I hate that shit. So, my simple answer to that question, no, we shouldn't ban court storming. It's fucking awesome. Again, there's nothing more beautiful in sports than that iconic upset when a team who is not supposed to be there or relevant at all has a massive, potentially program-changing upset over a ranked opponent. And again, as a competitor, I don't want to put my team on the low end of the scale if it's not. I am in agreement. I mean, if you want to storm, if you're the 17th ranked team in the nation and you beat the 5th ranked team in the nation and you want to storm, whatever. I mean, you look dumb, but I don't care. But I do think that when teams do have a true massive upset victory, that is part of the just nostalgia and the aura that is that just great college experience. The college game, the passion from the fan base in college is by far greater than any professional sport. I mean, NFL fans are a little nutty, don't get me wrong. They don't compare to college football fans. And don't even get me started on the NBA crowds. College basketball experience, like just the experience of being in a stadium when they storm the court, is fucking just fun. It's special. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm not against it. What I would suggest is just have awareness. A lot of these programs, the decision makers, the suits, they have got to do a better job of preparing for the moment. If Wake Forest internally truly felt like big time underdogs, and I mean they brought a crowd. I mean they packed that place. So they were excited for the game. You could feel it. The campus, I wasn't on it, obviously, but I would guess that the college, just the energy, the vibe around it, I bet spirits were high. All weekend they were excited to be hosting Duke. Even though Wake Forest is good this year, they're not historically good, so I get it from that standpoint. But the people that are making decisions have got to do better at recognizing the moment and preparing for the event that they do win. And you can kind of tell how horny, to use Kenny Chesney's term, you can tell how horny your crowd is. It doesn't take until they storm to realize that these motherfuckers are about to go apeshit if we win. Like, you got to feel that. And you have to prepare for it ahead of time. I think that storming the court is awesome. But it is the school's responsibility, the host's responsibility, to present a safe, competitive atmosphere for not only their team and their fans, but also the opposing team and the opposing fans. I mean, like, you don't go and put like shards of glass in the opposing locker room and shit. Like, you don't do, out of like sportsmanship and the nature of sports and sportsmanship in general, being a good host. Like, I'm not saying that you have to sprinkle flower petals and put do the whole nine and set up their locker room with all the snacks and whatever. I'm not saying that you have to be a perfect host to the opponents, but it is your responsibility as a school to provide them with a safe, competitive environment. And that includes post-game and getting security around the venue in appropriate numbers to at least get the players off the court. The home team players, they need to be protected too, but a lot of times when they storm, they don't actually end up going through the handshake line. They just kind of go straight party mode with their fans. So, not really. I mean, the kids that want to get out, they'll get out. I mean, it's not like they're wearing the other team's color. It's not as dangerous for them, but you never know who's going to be in the crowd. But that opposing team, it's that school, that hosting school's responsibility to get them the fuck up off the court as quick as possible. Somebody suggested fans should go to jail. I think it was Jay Billis. That's ridiculous. Like, that's straight nutty. Like need a straight jacket in a padded room nutty. If you are an adult of Jay Billis's caliber, who by the way went to Duke, he's a Dookie. But if you truly believe that these fans need to get locked up, okay, you've lost it, brother. You've absolutely lost it. Currently, there are fines set in program from the schools. Like, that's the only penalty as of right now. And you can't do anything to the fans. You just can't. That's why as a school, you've got to do whatever you got to do to protect the players so you don't have an incident. When players run onto the court, it presents a massive opportunity for there to be fist fights and the whole a damn repeat of what happened in Detroit. Malice in the Palace is what they nicknamed it when the Detroit Pistons got in a huge fight that bled into fighting fans in the crowd when they had Indiana Pacers come into town. You present those opportunities when they storm, especially as soon as the buzzer goes off. Like, storming the court's fine. We got to do a better job of protecting the kids. That's what I'm all about. That's what I stand for. And it's just that simple. I want the fans to get their experience. They deserve it. The fans are the ones who pays everybody's bills. They're the ones who pays for the coach. They pay for all the amenities that the players get. All the stadium upgrades. All that shit is because of the fans. The fans deserve that moment just as much as the players do. But we got to get the other kids out of there, man. That's what we got to do. Somebody else suggested that there be like a 10-second countdown. Good luck with that shit. Good luck with that shit. Be like a bunch of hungry, like a wolf pack. Just like as soon as you, that's gonna be. It'll probably be even worse, to be honest with you. They'll be tripping over each other worse than they already do. That's silly. The only thing that they're currently doing is each conference is responsible for dictating their own rules, basically. As of right now, the SEC has the most strict rules against court storming in the shape of fines. So what happens is when an SEC team storms a court against another SEC team, they have to pay the opposing school $100,000, I believe, for the first offense. The second offense, it goes to $250,000, excuse me. And the third offense, they owe the other school $500,000. Money don't mean shit. You know how big these programs are? And if they're getting a truly monumental victory, they'll wipe their ass with that $500,000. It's the SEC we're talking about. It's not the Missouri Valley Conference or whatever. Like, it's the SEC. They wipe their ass with the $500,000. Are you shitting me? And that's the most strict. The least strict is the ACC, at least of the Power 5. I don't know what the other conferences are. I didn't dig that deep. But the ACC currently has no fines. There's nothing for storming the court. So for all the people that are in mainstream sports that are on one side going, fuck the players, the fans deserve the opportunity, and if they get fucking stampeded and stepped on and kicked and yada yada, that's what college basketball means. That's what college football, that's what college sports are all about. It's our job as fans to get an opportunity to stampede and kick those fucking players in the nuts after the game. For the people who are on that side that don't give two fucks about the college athletes' health and safety, you are a piece of shit. Straight up. To the people on the other side, let's do away with it. Let's no more storming the court. Let's do a single file line, actually. Let's direct everybody to a single file line towards a safe space where we will provide everybody with pets, dogs and kittens to hold, and everybody can have a circle jerk in the parking lot. But it'll be a safe zone in the parking lot where everybody is agreed to meet up at a certain time after the game. Because court storming is just too dangerous. Again, when you fall on a side all the way this way or a side all the way this way, it really doesn't matter what side you're on, you're fucking wrong. If you are all the way or the reality is right here in everything. The reality is right here. Court storming's fucking awesome. Also, smart people figure it out. That's what you get paid to do. That's why you get to put on a suit and tie every day and make the big boy decisions, and you got the best box office in the house. You get paid to make those decisions. So use your fucking brain. That's what they're paying you for. Figure it out. Figure out a way where fans can have a magical moment with their team and the other team can be safe. It's not that fucking difficult. I did write down a bunch of notes about the history of court storming. Obviously, I went way further into the specifics than I had originally anticipated, but I do think that you all will find some of these fun facts of historical court storming pretty damn interesting. So the first reported court storming or field storming, this was in football, was fucking hilarious. In 1876, Yale versus Harvard, the Yale fans stormed the court before the game ended, and they tore down the goalpost so that Harvard didn't have the opportunity to kick a field goal to win the fucking game. You gotta be shitting me, man. That's the first one. It's probably one of the best stories out there. I said the one about Northwestern storming the field after their 29 straight losses. In Montana, Division I AA team won the championship, whatever. I didn't get the year, but the fans stole a 30-foot section of the goalpost and they took it to a local bar named Red's Bar, and they tried to get it through the front door. It didn't fit. They did whatever and twisted it, contorted it, or whatever. They ended up getting the fucking field goal post through the back door and into Red's Bar, where it was set up as a prop. In 1961, Florida versus Florida State tied 3-3. After the game was over, the Florida fans stormed the field and tore down this field goal, or that field goal post. The Florida State fans tore down the other goal post. Both fans started carrying the goalposts towards each other like they were gonna have a joust, like a gladiator joust with the damn field goal post. This was in 1961. You can look it up. And the band, the best part is the band trying to bring a little peace to the situation. They just simply started playing the Star Spangled Banner, hoping that good old patriotism would kick in and everybody would look around like, you know what? We are friends. We love our country. Let's put this field goal post down. That shit was hilarious. In 1968, Rutgers stormed the field against Princeton. They had been losing like 82-0, 80-0 every time they played Princeton. Rutgers finally wins. Their fans tore down everything at Princeton. They even went out to the practice field and tore down the practice field goal posts. They would continue to do this 7 times over the next 13 years. And 6 of those, they stormed the field and ripped that shit down before the game even ended. Shit is nuts, dude. 2007 was the most recent time that it happened in the NFL. The Dolphins started the year off 0-13, and their fans stormed the field and ripped the goalpost down. You don't see this shit in the NFL. Not that it really happens that often, but Roger Goodell made it a point, a very quiet point, a very off-the-record point, that to their TV contracts, like, if some shit's happening or a fan is streaking on the field or something not related to the game is happening on the field, Roger Goodell basically has told all their media contracts, who their providers, whether Fox, CBS, whatever, ESPN, whoever's hosting the game, whoever's showing the game, not to show that shit. So you don't hear about it in the NFL very much, but the last notable one was in 2007 when the Dolphins finally won after starting 0-13. In 2022, Alabama's Jermaine Burton was supposedly scared. He reported to his head coach, Nick Saban. He told Nick Saban that he punched the Tennessee fan in the face because he was scared after they lost and Tennessee started storming the field. Anybody can get jumped and nobody's going to win 1 on 100. Hard for me to believe that he just watch the video. it's not like he's got 10 people coming to him. It's like a sucker punch. Sore loser. That's what it was. That was the most recent real violent incident that happened in college football. One of the most memorable ones that ever happened in college football was the band is on the field. The band is on the field at Stanford. So pretty iconic moment there that involves storming the field before the game even ends. Probably a record for storming the field before the game ends. Utah fans versus BYU back in 2011. Back in 2011, Utah was playing BYU at home, BYU being the favorite. BYU's quarterback throws an incomplete pass with 1 second left on the clock. Fans storm the field, they go crazy, they think that they won. Play results in a penalty for unsportsmanlike because of the fans storming the field. BYU moves the ball up 15 yards. They attempt a field goal. That field goal is then blocked as time expires because there's only 1 second left on the clock. As time expires, the field goal is blocked. Fans rush on the field. Hold the phone, hold the phone, hold the phone. There was a penalty. And then an additional penalty because the fans stormed the field again. There was I don't know what the original penalty was, but they got another penalty. So move the ball up again. BYU gets now a third chance to crush Utah's fan base. They end up missing the chip shot field goal that this turned into after all this shit. Utah does win the game, and they do, in fact, storm the field for the third time. A lot of people have never been involved in one court or field storming. Those motherfuckers did 3 times on one day. So that goes to say, if you are a fan, be responsible and know the fucking game that you're watching. Because if you storm the court or the field too early, you're going to fuck your own team. And if it's a one-possession ball game in any sport or whatever, and your team ends up losing the game because you're a fucking idiot and you don't understand the rules and you don't understand what's going on, you have no awareness of the situation, and you cost your team, it's like the most humiliating, despicable, and unforgivable thing that you could do to those athletes who've worked their ass off on the field. So be a smarter fucking fan. Locally, and I watched a 15-minute historical video on the history of court storming and field storming. The most embarrassing early celebration occurred right here in our own state, and it happened between my absolute favorite school, had it painted everywhere on the walls. University of Kentucky, 2002, playing LSU. UK has the lead 30-27 with 2 seconds left on the field. Or on the clock, sorry. The UK players have already given the head coach a Gatorade bat. The fans are already climbing down the walls at good old Commonwealth Stadium, which is what it was before it became Kroger Field. Everybody is in absolute just one more play and we're storming this bitch. On the final play of the game, LSU's quarterback throws a deep ball. That ball is tipped by a UK defender. It bounces about 7 yards further down the field where a LSU receiver just so happens to catch it right in stride and waltzes right into the end zone. Heartbreaking, crushing fucking loss. But what makes this moment the top moment on the history of court and field storming, even the video that I watched, what makes this the most embarrassing and worst court storming moment, is that the Kentucky fans fucking stormed the field anyways. They had no idea that they even lost. They were so amped up and so ready to storm the field over this massive win over LSU that they didn't even fucking pay attention to LSU having a miracle play on the last play of the game with 3 seconds left and winning the fucking ball game. So now you got UK fans all over the field ripping the goalpost down and everything else. Coach is soaking wet from the Gatorade bath he got from his own players, and these motherfuckers didn't even win the game. Man, that shit's embarrassing. As much as I believe that we can find a way to save court storming and field storming and find a way to make it safe for the players, y'all fans got to get smarter, man. Y'all got to really understand and learn what the fuck is going on in the sport that you're there to watch. Because, damn it, y'all look dumb at several moments in history. It's only a few. I couldn't give you the whole damn video. I couldn't break down every single moment in history. But there's enough right here to tell you there's some fucking dumb fan bases out there. So that's it on Field and Court Storming.
Hey, big old Benz truck. I ain't gon' stop, I pop my roof, I ain't giving my mans up. And I ain't getting shot by cops that shoot no little handguns. Big old Benz, big old Benz truck. Big old Benz, hey, big old Benz truck. I ain't gon' stop, I pop my roof, I ain't giving my mans up. And I ain't getting shot by cops that shoot no little handguns. Big old Benz, big old Benz.